Hey everybody, it's Raven. Again, I'm on here to talk about, this is my hopefully last story about bad, crazy roommates. And this is the third story. Hopefully, like I said before, hopefully this is the last one. So for the sake of privacy, we're going to call this roommate number 3. So we've already done number 1 and number 2. I lived with number 3 for 9 months between July 2017 and February 2018. I hope that's 9 months. If not, I can't count, whatever. At the time, she was an acquaintance of my fiance. When he was my boyfriend, he used to do tarot readings for her a lot. And I was in a tough place at the time, and we couldn't afford to live anywhere else. That's another story, a long story for another day. Anyways, this person literally was diagnosed with autism, which we knew before. And my fiance has Asperger's, so that's not the problem. The problem was that she had something, I can't remember what it's called, but she had something with similar symptoms as schizophrenia, but we didn't know about her manic disorder until after we moved in. And this person was put into a mental hospital twice just during our stay with her, which, I mean, I'm not saying people that are put into mental institutions or mental hospitals are crazy. Sometimes it's just for the benefit of the person, but this person really belongs in a long-term facility, or did when we lived with her. Her house was always a mess, and unless I cleaned it, which I only did twice when I lived there, because it was just so overwhelming how dirty it was. Her 2 pets suffered from her behavior. She was always gone. And when she was home, she wouldn't really pay any attention to them. She barely fed or gave her animals any water. Like, I did it more than she did. The only thing she did do for her pets a lot was she would take her dog for walks, like long walks. Like, she'd walk her dog for miles, and just out of her manic episodes. And she would take her cat's litter out, but that's about it. She didn't really do much else for her pets, which part of me wants to call animal control and get her pets taken away from her, but I'm not a malicious person. And I feel like her pets help her a lot with her issues, but I also feel like she should have a service animal more so than anything else. She treated me in a way that reminded me of a way of my mother before she was medicated. So it was just a very toxic environment for me. But her antics were, I don't even know how to explain or describe her in a nice way. She once swore that she heard gun machine shots in her apartment complex, and started freaking out about Nazis coming to get her, and then started talking about World War II. She showed me pictures of random people's license plates, and asked me why the date would match the American Revolution, and I'm like, well, it's the South. I shouldn't say we, because I'm not really Southern at heart, but the South's very, very into, like, history and dates, even though most of the history and dates of the South thinks they understand is most of the time wrong. She drives around traffic circles over and over way too many times, and like blasts music out of her motivational canvas of her car, because she thinks that's how she spreads love through Greensboro. Her motivational canvas on her car literally has a bunch of, like, you can do it, be positive, like positivity, like admirations on her car, which is fine, but it's like all on her windows, which I don't know how that's not illegal. Anyways, because she can barely see out of her windows. The only window it's not on is her front window. And even the cops tell her that it's illegal because she does it so much, and she's becoming a nuisance to everybody else. let's see, what else? She's once written an obituary for a squirrel that she found dead in her apartment complex once on her Facebook. So she's a lot. Anyways, she believes that we make our own reality, which is super toxic. The worst thing about living with her was that her mom kept trying to raise the rent that me and her daughter already agreed on through text messages, knowing that we couldn't afford it. And I'm like, if she would have tried to evict us, I would have taken her ass to court, because we have tons of texts between both of us stating that what the agreed rent was and the time allotted and just in general. But I mean, I feel like the judge would also take into fact that she's not mentally stable, but they wouldn't side with the mom, because it's like we can't afford it, and like where else are we gonna live? We're not gonna live in the IRC. That's just not whatever. Anyways, we could barely afford the rent that we had agreed upon. I'm so glad we are out of there though, because like, Jesus. She's the reason I was stolen from. Like, I have a story time about how I was stolen from. You can watch it if you want to know more. I just don't want anything to do with her. Like, if I see her in public, I'll say hi and talk to her if she talks to me, but I'm not gonna act like she's my best friend. Just no. Yeah. Anyways, that's my last story time about bad, crazy roommates. Yeah, hopefully I'll have more story times about stuff. I pretty much post them as they happen, or whenever I have time to post them. But yeah, thanks. Bye.